Hello. I wasn't going to video making kraut because I already have a video up, I think, and I will link to it. But I thought I would show you my first steps anyway, not just in still pictures, that's how my last one was done. So I've got a mandolin, and you see that? Yeah. And I'm being very careful because I'm scared to death of this blade. I'm going to tell you, that thing is sharp as a razor. So, I've already shredded some of the cabbage. We bought 8 heads of cabbage, 15 pounds. And the little handle that goes on here doesn't fit this cabbage. So, I'm just using my hand. I still don't have a cut-proof glove, which I really need. And they're not all that expensive, I just don't think about it. So, I'm going to leave, there's quite a bit left on it, you can see. I'm going to leave it on there like that. Okay, it's a little bit closer view. My table's really a mess, y'all. It's always a mess. I always have so many things lined up to do that I can't seem to get to other things. Does that make any sense? For instance, you have to, when you get something like this cabbage, you have to go ahead and deal with it pretty quickly. I mean, it will keep for a little while, but not all that long. I'm running this so that the leaf is, the top of the stem is down, so that the leaf gets shredded better instead of just flipping off. I'll still flip off a little bit. Big pieces I'm going to pull out. I wanted to show you, this is what we got off the outside of them. Pretty large leaves to pack over in the jar when I put it in the jar, to pack over the top of it. I've got about a 2 or 3 gallon mason jar. It actually says mason on it. I'll show it to you after a bit. But anyway, what I'm going to do with these cores and the extra big pieces of leaves is, after a while, I'll just cut that off by hand, and we'll have fried cabbage for supper. So anyway, you get the idea, and there's still quite a few pieces left to do. Okay, I've got all the cabbage shredded that I want shredded. Anything that's left over, we're going to fry up for supper, and there's not much left over, it's just whatever's on the cores. Anyway, it's beautiful. Some pieces are a little bigger than others. It's fine. It'll still work. What I've got here is a half a cup of salt. So what I'm going to do is start sprinkling this in. And then start mixing it. Just mixing it with my hands. Now I'll put the rest of it in. And when I mix it now, I'm going to really bruise it up. Use my hands to crush it as much as possible. I want it to bruise up. Is that some familiar sound? The inverter, of course. Anyway, I want to bruise it up. Get it broken in my hands to release these beautiful juices in this cabbage. That's the first step to getting your kraut going. Oh, it's getting wetter already. You can feel it. sounds different. Put this big piece out. Now when I put it in the jar that I'm going to ferment it in, I'll use something to pack it down real hard and really pound it, because you really want to move it, all the air possible out of it, so that all that's left is the brine over the cabbage. The salted brine will help prevent any unwanted bacterial growth while promoting the growth of the lactic acid, which is the ferment. The water is really coming out. I don't know if I can wring any out yet or not. A little bit. Not much, but it'll come. Anyway, fermentation, you can do all kinds of ferments, and I'm learning all the time about them. So the next ferment I do may be something like carrots or some other vegetable that I can ferment. I want to try to do fermented pickles as well. Okay, I'll bring you back in just a second. There's water down in the bottom. That's the brine. Anyway. Yeah, lots of water in there. So now, it's all on my hands. I've got this jar. I'll wipe my hands off and I'll show you. I already put just a little handful of it in there. You can see that jar. Got this eagle on it. It says Mason's patent, November 30th, 1858. It says in a cannon jar or anything like that. But anyway, we've had this for a really long time, and I'll tell you a little story. We used to have two of them. One of them got broke. But anyway, my husband used to drive a truck locally. Well, he used to drive over the road, and he used to drive one locally. Sometimes for like a dump truck or hauling logs or whatever. He would stop at these little stores to get his lunch or get a soft drink or some chips to go with his lunch or something. Anyway, one of them had these. And he bought them. He paid $5 a piece for these jars. This one used to have a lid. I don't know where the lid's at, but it's got all kinds of rust stains around the top anyway. So we've had this. I've probably had this 30 years, maybe. It's moved with us several times. Anyway, I just got it cleaned up to use for kraut. So now I'm going to start kraut in there. Start putting the kraut in there. As I get some in there, let me get my tamper. Okay, my tamper is my rolling pin. I've also had this about 30 or 35 years. I used to have one that had the handles in the end. I didn't like it because when you tried to really push down to get stuff thin, the handles would give. So I've got this one. I kind of think we found it in a house that we lived in a long, long time ago. And I like it a lot better because I can really get some pressure on it. So tamp this down pretty hard with the end of this rolling pin. You really want it to continue breaking. And I will bring you back when I get it all in there. Okay, this did not produce, I guess because it's later in the year, the cabbage is drier, it did not produce enough liquid to cover the cabbage shred that's in the jars. So I made a quart of brine to pour into it because I want that cabbage completely covered. The brine is just about a tablespoon of salt in the water. Now I'm going to put these cabbage leaves in. Get them arranged around there where they completely cover the sauerkraut. It's going to be sauerkraut. Tuck them into the edge. They're nice and big. Plenty of coverage. Because I don't want this kraut to be exposed to the air at all. So I'm probably going overboard with the cabbage leaves. But I figure better safe than sorry. These were the outside leaves on the cabbage, as I said earlier. Quite tough, leathery feeling. It's the perfect solution for this. And they probably carry a little bit of wild yeast on them, I don't know. And that's fine. Okay, I put a quart jar of brine in there. Push down these cabbage leaves, the big cabbage leaves, pretty hard. This will continue to make more liquid and come up. And I'm just using the jar of brine now for a weight. Put this sticky Glad, what's it called, press and seal on here. It's not super tight, but I'll keep a check on it. I just don't want anything else to get in this jar. I'll bring you back in a few weeks. Well, I'll make a new video in a few weeks when I get ready to can it, because I know. Oh, you have more probiotics to your health, for your health if you don't can it. But I don't have any way to keep it stable, shelf stable here in this cabin. So I have to can it if I want to keep it. Thanks for watching.